Say you take a child who tries to succeed and actually does. So take this situation. This is a unique one. Say you're a kid, 5 years old in class, and you just crush it at a test, and you succeed. And it's a test that you really took seriously, you focused on. I know you're 5, but from that perspective, you're like, just studying as best as you can, and you were the best grade in the entire class. So you crushed it, right? People would say, hey, that's great. That's a good reference that if you put your mind to it, you can do it. But what if, by you succeeding, it makes some of the other classmates a little jealous, makes them feel a little bit bad, makes them think, hey, your good grade made my grade look worse, and they're not happy about you succeeding. Now, as a child, what might that program into you? Success is bad and dangerous. Maybe even friends, like, we can't be friends with you anymore. It's funny too, growing up, at least for me, I grew up in Switzerland, people would make fun of the smart kids in class, right? In French, they'd call it intello, like a little intelligent, like, oh, little intello, look how smart that guy, look how smart she is. Like, literally, it would be a bad label. What does that condition in you? That, hey, being smart is bad? If you succeed and you lose friends, it might program you to think, well, success is being alone. Success is abandonment. Now, say that's programmed into you. Here you are today, consciously, I want to win. I want to live my dream life. But then there's still that younger you screaming inside, no, 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 because that means we're going to be alone. We got to hold back a little bit. Don't show your potential. Showing your potential will alienate others. If your friends, your family truly knew just how great you were, they would banish you. And that pattern runs us. That's also a lot of self-sabotage. Self-sabotage isn't you screwing yourself over, it's you giving yourself exactly what you want. It's staying congruent to these beliefs or assumptions. However, we're not always aware of it, because we just look at the surface. We're like, consciously, I want to do this. Why do I keep screwing up? Well, under the surface, you're getting exactly what you want, because although failure might suck, it's scarier to succeed for that reason. Make sense? You might also have core beliefs around yourself as a person. Maybe growing up, a parent might have said, you know what? You need to be more responsible. You're not a responsible person. Now, as a child, learning how to navigate the world, because just think of the whole experience. You come into this thing, you're like, what is this? Fingers, hands, these weird beings, what? And you're just trying to form your bearings, your understanding. You're creating your map of reality in a way. Now, you can't learn everything firsthand. There's too much to learn, right? So you'll learn some firsthand from experience, but a lot of what's going to create your map of reality comes from secondhand experience. Now, as a kid, who do you look for secondhand experience? Who do you look at? Your parents, right? Teachers, and classroom. There's 3 filters, if you want to get really analytical with this, that go in our mind in terms of accepting secondhand experience. If those 3 filters are checked, we'll assume that it is true, even though it might not be. Filter number 1 is, how certain is this person? How certain? Meaning, if I come up to you, like say none of you have ever clapped in your life before. Okay? You don't know what clapping is. And I come up and I'm like, hey, if you do like this with your hands, it makes a sound. Now, if I'm very certain, that's going to be the first thing you're going to look at. Versus, hey, I think if you do this, it makes a sound, right? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, it makes a sound, everyone. Are you going to assume that's true? You're like, I don't know about that. So certainty is the first one. If you're very certain, okay, check mark number 1. The next one is, how congruent is this person? So you could be very certain, but under the surface, you could say, in terms of thoughts, words, actions, they're not really aligned. And that might come off as certain, but say try hard. Hey, if you clap your hands, it makes a sound. Yeah, it totally does. It makes a sound. Something's a little off in the vibe. But if you're congruent, hey, if you do like this with your hands, it makes a sound. You're like, okay, certain, congruent. And the third one is, how much authority? So authority could be, as we talked about, whoever's raising you, parents, they have a lot of authority. Or primary caregivers, a lot of authority. Teachers also have a lot of authority. But then what also creates a lot of authority? Social proof. The more people believe something, the more likely you are to also believe it because it's backed up by so many people believing it, giving that idea authority. So classroom, society, what everyone believes in society also affects us. So a lot gets programmed there. So say the teacher's like, you need to be more responsible. You're not responsible. I guess I'm not responsible. So we have beliefs around the external and beliefs around ourselves. We create this core identity. And if you're like, okay, well, I'm not responsible, just think about, one, how that affects you and how that affects your life moving forward, how it also affects your perception. You could think of it too as we all, from the moment we're born, have these glasses put on us. So you come in, you're like, I'm a baby, glasses. Meaning, you never really see the world as it is. You see it the way you've been conditioned to see it. And these glasses are very programmable. So you're going through life, teachers like, you need to be responsible. You don't take yourself seriously enough. You need to really focus. I'm not responsible, programmed. That hijacks then your focus, and you're going to filter reality through that. Now, if something happens, like say, I don't know, you fail at a test for some random reason, you're going to link that failure to, I failed because I'm not responsible. So it actually reinforces it. The more it's reinforced, the more you filter reality and look for proof, more often than not unconsciously, which reinforces it, and it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy. And here you are in your adult life, I'm living life through this non-responsible filter. I'm a non-responsible being. I want success. But then if you also know that to succeed, you must be responsible, well, then I'm not going to succeed because that's not for me because I'm not responsible. The same with you're stupid. Well, I guess I'm stupid. How does a stupid person see the world? Oh, that happened to me because I'm stupid. Reinforces it. Looks for proof. Reinforces it. And the lenses, you could say, get thicker and thicker and thicker. So all of you here, you have these conditioned beliefs. You have these conditioned beliefs about the world, about yourself, and the other layer to this, which is quite scary, and why it's very hard to even become aware of some of these beliefs, but even scarier to question or let go of them, is because we form belief trees. So say, here's another one. You're growing up and you look at the relationships your parents have. You're like, I wonder what a relationship is. I wonder what love is. So you look at people of authority, your parents, and maybe your parents fight a lot. So as a kid, what's that going to program into the glasses? Love equals fighting. Love equals drama. Say your parents separate, divorced. Love equals abandonment. You're not thinking, is this good or bad? You're just like, well, that's what it is. So coming into this world, you form core assumptions, core beliefs. It's the first ones you make. So, okay, love equals, say, abandonment. And then the way our mind works is, well, if this is true, then, and we build new beliefs on it. Okay, well, based upon this first assumption, then I can make this assumption, and this one, and then this one, and we create these trees. Where at the foundation, love equals abandonment, which is why there's resistance to becoming aware of it, and guess what? Why will you never even dare question it or let go of it? Because if this happens to be wrong, what does it say about all the rest? It's all wrong, and the whole tree crumbles. The same with who you consider yourself to be. I'm a loser, I'm a loser. You build all these new beliefs, all these new references, you create this map based on the original assumption, I'm a loser. This is also why your comfort zone is so powerful. It's like, hey, it's keeping you in the known. If suddenly you're not a loser, then everything you know, all your bearings on the world, your understanding of the world, yourself and others, fades away and you're left with the big unknown. So we cling on to these. And that is core beliefs, core identity you must become aware of and let go of if you want to free yourself. And a lot of self-sabotage is simply you staying congruent to it. If I think I'm a loser, I'm going to push away opportunities or people that challenge that. Even though consciously, I might not want this. Subconsciously, it's what the body resonates with. Now, to become aware of some of this, with specifically, say, core beliefs, I would start in a very general level, and this is something I would suggest you all do at home after this event, is all of you write down health, wealth, relationships, and let's just say overall success equals, and you're going to fill in the blanks. Meaning, what words, definitions, even feelings, what comes up around these different areas of your life? Now, the default is we're going to tend to write down positive beliefs, right? Or beliefs that, oh, that sounds good. Like health means longevity, looking good, healthy, it's great, so on and so forth. And that's cool, you can write that down. But I would challenge yourself to say, well, is there perhaps some negative beliefs that come up around this, right? Health could be going to the gym a lot of time, a lot of energy, not eating my favorite foods, et cetera, not fun. Same with wealth, money, success. Here's a good audit for that. Who here loves the 1%? 1%? People in the 1% who just make so much money, billionaires? Yeah? Okay. If you didn't raise your hand, that's not good. Why? Because it means that there is some negative belief around making a lot of money. Now, does that take away from the fact that perhaps some people who make a lot of money are toxic and not good and unhealthy and don't use it in the best way? No, that could also happen. But ask yourself, what does it say about me? It means that if I don't like the 1%, I'm never going to allow myself to be the 1% because then I'm in the group that I don't like. Right? If you think of money too, a lot of the core beliefs is, well, making a lot of money means being greedy, right? You're greedy. You're materialistic. You got to cheat the system to do it. You must have screwed people over to do it. It's not good. It's not ethical, blah, blah, blah. It's sleazy. There's a ton of these core beliefs, and that's stuff that you have to sit down with. But if those are the labels around it, you're not going to allow yourself to make it because you don't want to then be that. Right? Now, once more, it doesn't take away from the fact that maybe some people do make money and do all those things. But I'm saying bring it back to you here. If there's any negativity around it, you're going to push it away subconsciously. Same with relationships. Relationships equal hurt, heartbreak. If you've been traumatized by a breakup, which, by the way, a good way to notice is wherever there is trauma, there's also triggeredness, as you saw earlier. If a breakup triggers you and runs you for a very long period of time, a period of time that seems disproportionate to reality, then that is something to let go of, and it will be something that will affect future relationships. Meaning, is a breakup fun? Yes or no? You like breakups? Think they fun? Yeah, let's like go into the movies. Let's get a little breakup. No, they're not. They are not. And breakups, it's normal that it hurts for a period of time. If it doesn't hurt, by the way, you were never truly in a relationship. You never truly opened yourself up. So it's normal that it hurts. But it's also normal that after a period of time, it ceases to hurt. Yet you'll see people run by breakups for years, decades even. You'll see people even remarried. My first wife. That's not an appropriate response to reality. You're still being run. And if, say, that breakup hurt me so much, I can't experience that again, well, you're going to push away relationships. Because then entering in a relationship is also entering a situation where you could be hurt like that again. So there are many, but you must audit this. And the same with success. Because it could be scary. Any negative beliefs associated, write them down and just let your hand flow. And now you have some data you can work with. And that's data you can then let go of. And then I would also do this for who you are as a person. Right? Here's you. You want to go towards your goals. For some reason, it feels like you're just in this invisible cage, this invisible prison. Well, when it comes to the belief you have about you, what comes up there? How do you feel about you? You can say, me equals, fill in the blank. And then to take it one step further, you can also, and this is a great exercise, ask yourself, what character do I identify with the most? If all of you had to pick some fictional character, could be from a movie, a TV show, a book, who describes you the most? Not who you want to be, but who you resonate with. For myself, for the longest time, it was the self-destructive artist. That's who I identified with. Now, how might that affect my life or my success? I would never truly allow myself to succeed because I'm no longer self-destructive, right? If I succeed, I'm not self-destructive. So I would always destroy success. Now, it would lead me to create a certain amount of success because I needed some to destroy. It was more along the lines of that kind of Joker personality, right? Where he's just burning the money to burn it. That's what I resonate with. It's like, here, I'm going to create success, and I'm going to be right there at the finish line where it'd be so easy to just cross it, but just to be a little different, to be a little special, I'm just going to kick it away for no reason at all. Because who else would do that? Look how unique and significant I am. Right? And you'll see the character you identify with, there's a certain amount of specialness and significance in it. Okay? So, for all of you,
Is this consciously or subconsciously self-destructive others?
subconsciously. Yeah. Here it's making it conscious through these exercises. So for all of you, what character are you? Not who you want to be, who you resonate with. It could be the underdog. That's a big one, right? If you've watched, say, a common movie is like the movie Rocky. A lot of people identify with Rocky. It's like you need some big challenge. You need to overcome the odds to feel special. I had a client I worked with who resonated with that, where he had amazing opportunities in his job, and for some reason he would just keep kind of messing it up till the last minute so that his boss started doubting him. Oh, maybe you were the wrong person for the job. I don't know if you got this. And there was this huge obstacle now, and all these people he had to prove wrong, and then he would take action. Because he needed the enemy and the challenge to overcome. He needed to feel doubted, to feel like the underdog, so that when he succeeds, it feels special, and he feels special about himself. And he would push away easy success. Interesting. For all of you too, if you're making success a lot harder than it needs to be, then why? We tend to think too, easy success, well then I didn't deserve it. I need to beat the final boss first before getting the success. No. You could also identify with a common one is Good Will Hunting, right? Matt Damon in that movie, where it's the person with all this untapped potential that you just keep inside for yourself and never truly act on. You could also identify as Spider-Man, which I talk about a lot, or a superhero, where there's always this one defining life change and life moment, right? Or you might identify as, I'm the princess. Look at all those classic princess movies. It's always a princess, and it's always a prince that comes and saves her, and shows her the way, and shows her the lessons. Now, if you think about it too, that's not also the best conditioning, because it's literally saying, you can't do it, you need a prince. Where's my prince? Someday my prince will come. Well, that's interesting conditioning. And you'll see a lot of people kind of waiting for that. I just haven't met my prince, you know? I just haven't. Now, it did kind of change later on in the later Disney movies, but there's always something like that. You're like, if I identify, where might this manifest in my life? What are the patterns that I can perhaps see in my life? You could also identify with the sidekick. That's a big one, where you're always helping others, or you always need some hero to help, and you can't truly be the hero yourself. You could identify with the person who's hurt, or the martyr. Another big one is, and a lot of actually successful people in a purely business sense fall into this, where they're like, you know what, I'm the hero who sacrifices love and family and connection for my greater purpose. And they just hustle, 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 and cut everything off, and they're alone, but they're like, it's just who I am. And there's a certain guilty pleasure in it. It feels special. You could also be the background character in a movie that no one even notices. The little extra in the back that someone paid. It's like, hey, just sit in the restaurant and pretend to talk. Who describes you and you resonate with the most? What are perhaps the downsides of being that? And where do you perhaps see those patterns manifest in your life? Once you're aware of them, then you can start working on them. But there also are patterns that run all of us. Yes, things change at the surface, you grow older, so on and so forth, but underneath that, it's the same patterns repeating again and again and again. Become aware of them to let go of them. And be willing to dive into the negativity. And this also goes against a lot of the whole positive thinking movement. Meaning, is it good to think positive thoughts, everyone? Yes, no? Well, yeah, it is. But anything that can help you can also hurt you. So you can hear this idea of, yes, think positive thoughts, or even positive affirmations. And if you're someone who's truly at the bottom, in a really dark spot, it can be very helpful. Yes, if you're in a dark spot, look at yourself in the mirror and say, you got this, and have your positive mantras. But that will get you out of that dark spot, and you're going to feel a little bit more powerful. When you do, what got you here won't get you there. Now you're a bit stronger, you have a bit more of a footing, a solid foundation. That's when it's time to then dive into that darkness. Not to be stuck there, but to become aware of it, to let go of it. Because otherwise it's going to follow you forever. And that's the thing, people are too scared. Like, I don't want to open myself up to the negativity, because if I do, I'll manifest more of it. No, it's going on whether you're aware of it or not, right? What's in your subconscious is active. If I have a cut here, whether I'm looking away, like, I don't want to see the blood, the cut's still there. So yeah, you can maybe calm down. There's no blood. Okay, I calm down. Now that I'm calm, let's look at it. Oh, it's so gross. Oh, there's so much blood. Oh, I got this. Okay, now I can stitch it up. You got to see the blood to stitch it up, right? Same here. You got to dive into your inner demons to let go of them. And then a cheesy saying from yours truly is, we think that by opening ourselves up to the darkness, we manifest more of it. We let it out. But in reality, by opening yourself up to the darkness, you let in the light. Something to keep in mind.